Welcome to Brookline Hub In-Depth. I'm your host, Harvey Bravman, and we have a great show today because we're with two icons of local independent businesses, Lisa Wisel and Beth Venti. Beth and her husband, Kevin, have owned Wild Goose Chase since 2014, and now Beth is teaming up with Lisa Wisel to bring Wild Goose Chase back. Beth, I'm going to go to you first here. Welcome to the show. And why don't you give me the story of Wild Goose Chase? I know that the store has been around for 45 years and you and your husband have been part of it for 7 years, but give me the story of how this all came about.
Yeah, I moved to Brookline about 12 years ago. And when I came here, I was sort of looking for a new opportunity. I have a background in human resources, mostly in the retail field, but knew that I was always interested in owning my own business. So I think literally I saw the ad in the tab or an article about the Wild Goose Chase for sale. And once we got started, the train didn't slow down, and we took it over and had a great ride. So really tried to grow the business, improve the demographic, kind of create a little bit broader price point so I could attract the college students. Certainly got an online presence, which the previous owners didn't have, which was very helpful and beneficial. But the pandemic hit, and it was just one of those challenges that nobody needed gifts. People weren't going out, weren't socializing. And we ran for the 15, 16 months about half sales. So we needed to make a change, and we knew the store, even before the pandemic, was a lot of square footage to fill when it comes to inventory and staffing. So we had to make a tough decision to make a change and give us the opportunity to sort of regroup and figure out what was next. Definitely a difficult decision, but I was kind of very determined to make sure that the store found some way of being able to continue on. And the biggest part I really wanted was a business partner, not just a manager or an employee, someone that could, help me make a difference going forward. So that brings us here, sitting next to each other.
So Lisa, like in 1 year, you've gone from who knows what the heck happened at the golf course where I still
there's no words.
I still don't know any other way to say it other than the town of Brookline put an independent business out of business during a pandemic. I mean, there really isn't any other way to describe it, but to go in just a few months from that, situation to now, this just seems so perfect. What was Beth a customer of Vine Ripe Grill, or how did you two sort of connect?
So Beth and I knew each other sort of peripherally through the Chamber of Commerce. So we had met a couple of times before, and she had heard that the restaurant had closed and she was closing her business, but I don't think really wanted to. She wanted sort of a smaller store that was going to be more manageable. And like Beth just said, she wanted a partner. So she called me out of the blue one day, and it was shortly after I had just had a conversation with my husband about taking the summer off, just sort of regrouping. And then in the fall, maybe I'll look at some gift stores and work 2 or 3 days a week part-time. And that's what I would do. And lo and behold, Beth called and asked if I wanted to partner with her at the Wild Goose Chase. And I said, okay. And that's basically how it happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think we really both realized we didn't want to work for somebody else, that we would probably do better working together and to divide and conquer than we would answering to someone else after being our own boss for so many years.
Yeah.
We were really hesitant of like, oh, what does that look like to go get a job?
Yeah. So this is like the best of both worlds. I mean, we both have the history. We've both been business owners. you know, we both live in Brookline. We have a lot of similarities, and our personalities are similar. We laugh, we have fun, and that's sort of what we want as business partners.
For you, those of you at home who are Coolidge Corner shoppers, and if you're not a Coolidge Corner shopper, I don't know what the heck you're doing. You should really go over there, go to the movies, go to the local stores, great restaurants in Coolidge Corner. It's really my favorite commercial area in the world. It's really, really a great place. So what's happening is Eureka Puzzles, we all know where they are in Beacon Street, is moving to where Wild Goose Chase used to be. And Wild Goose Chase is going to where Eureka Puzzles is now. I've got that right.
Yeah,
Correct.
Right. And David Lachinsky, owner of Eureka Puzzles, another Brookline icon, just a really great guy, and has a really incredible store over there. So Beth, tell me a little bit about this, what will be this new iteration of Wild Goose Chase. You're in a smaller store. Will the store be the same as it has been the last 7 years or before the pandemic, but smaller? Are there any other differences besides just the change in location a few doors down?
Well, the one thing that I've always been proud of, that we're a small business that's always supported, 250, 300 other small artists out there, local handmade things. And Lisa and I've talked a lot about really trying to focus more on New England, and how can we source people that are more in the neighborhood. There's so much talent out there. It's just, you have to figure out how to find them. And that's what really takes the time. I can go to shows and different places where there may be more commercial type artisans that are used to, working with wholesale partners. Well, what about some of the smaller folks out there that are more local, based in New England? We've always done a really good job with the jewelry. It's been a little more challenging to find some of the gift items locally. Glass is a perfect example. Most glassware is made out on the West Coast, and it's just part of where the industry lies. But we know there's people that probably blow glass somewhere in the New England area that would love to be in a handmade shop. So that's the biggest focus, is staying as handmade as possible, but still giving people that wide range of price points, so there's something for everyone.
That's great. And are most of your sales online or in the store, or?
It's majorities in the store. So I would guess we're probably about 80-20 split, 20% being online, which is definitely an opportunity. Clearly the pandemic taught people that didn't used to shop online learned how to do it. So we have to make sure we can take care of those folks as well.
I have a great Wild Goose Chase story. So a few different years now, I've produced once a film, and then done some other interview work for the MLK Celebration Committee that puts on an event every year on MLK Day at the Coolidge Corner Theater. And this really incredible person from the town of Brookline, employee, her name is Caitlin Starr, and she works as the assistant director of the Office of Diversity, Inclusion, and Community Relations. And young, really, really talented person, really worked her butt off for, these residents who are on this committee to try to put on this event every year. And so she was getting married, and we all wanted to do something for her. So we went to Wild Goose Chase, and we had no idea what to buy her. So we just pulled our money and bought a gift certificate And we just asked, if there's something we could do, could you add a letter to it? Could you do something? We just want her to feel really special. So you told us you would just take care of us, and she went there to shop, and you guys, I don't know if you remember this or not, but you treated her so special. And when a young person's getting married, it's a big deal. You did something to make the whole thing special, and she was just floored, and it made us look like superstars. And it was just that personal touch. And it's that kind of thing that you're not going to get from one of those big online box stores. We talk about the brick and mortar box stores. Well, there's sort of like these big online presences that deal with the whole country and everything, but you're not going to get the same sort of personal attention that you would get at a store like Wild Goose Chase that people have been getting for the last 45 years. So there's no question with that, just a statement that, that you really give it your all. And Lisa, that's the, you serve great food at Vine Right, but I think it's the way people are treated that makes a really big difference between just having a nice lunch and having a nice experience.
I think that's what draws Beth and I together is we both have that philosophy. And we both are the same. I think we're both the same personality. We have the same philosophy as far as the way we treat customers. Customers are first, and we like to make people feel special.
When are you going to open? Do you know yet?
Hopefully the beginning of November. So it all hinges on Eureka Puzzles finishing the space at the Wild Goose Chase and then moving all their product over before we can get in. So we've been told that should happen the first week in October. So we'll have basically a month to get the store together. So Beth has been furiously ordering product, and we're meeting with local vendors and getting the purchase orders written up. And so hopefully when the store is ready to be open, we'll have all the product there and just get it out. So it'll be a tight time frame, but we want to be open for the holidays. And first light this year is November 20th, a little bit earlier on a weekend. So we want to make sure that we are good to go for that.
And I know the Vine Right people will want to ask, this is Wild Goose Chase. This isn't you're not going to be serving any food there, correct? Or
I've had so many people ask me, well, how does food come into this? Like, are you going to have something on the side, like in part of the store? Someone asked me if we were going to be selling goose. So people are curious as to how the food will enter into all this. So the food people is over. No more food unless we have crackers and cheese and wine on certain events that we're going to plan fun events with local vendors, and we'll have a big opening event at some point. And so that's about the extent of my food and beverage at the moment. Crackers and cheese and wine.
well, I'm sure the store is a lot easier to clean up when there's no food.
Oh, yeah.
And no kitchen to shut down.
Yeah, much easier.
I'm trying to think of what are there questions that I should have asked that I haven't been asking about you in the store? And is your husband still involved? And wasn't he the co-owner with you before?
Yes, but he was there more on a part-time basis. He really was kind of more behind the scenes. He did the bookkeeping for us. He likes to claim that he took out the trash and swept the sidewalk.
Someone's got to do that. That's important stuff.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, he's a great salesperson, but he's been in retail for pretty much his whole career. He spent 25 years with Trader Joe's, and it's
Okay.
just time, So he's looking for something a little bit different, more that's his cup of tea. So
the funny thing about this whole thing with her husband is he worked with my daughter, Kate, at Trader Joe's for many, many years. So I sort of knew Kevin a little bit before I got to know Beth.
All right. And tell me a little about, I mean, for those of you who aren't, haven't been to Wild Goose Chase, give me an idea of what it's going to be like once you walk in the door. And just the part B of this question is, anything there for guys?
So funny. You're the second person that has asked me that question. And Beth has been primarily the buyer, so I'll let her answer the question about the men. But as far as when you walk in the door, it's going to be funky. I think it's going to be really funky and fun and music playing, and it's going to be great. But I think we will have things for guys.
Yeah, we always try. We take feedback and go out and source things. And, a lot of times men like things that plug in. We don't sell a lot of things that necessarily plug in. Although last year I did have handmade wood cell phone chargers that were very interesting. It was a local woodworker from Jamaica Plain. So I'm going to touch base with him again this year, make sure that he wants to get some of his wares in our store as well. So it's a little bit of everything for everyone, and we're just going to have to figure out how to do it in half the amount of space. So I'm buying smaller things for now.
What would you like to see at the store as a guy?
Well, I'll tell you, cell phone chargers are like cell phone chargers and pens. I have them all over my house, my car, my briefcase, everywhere. It's like that other sock. I always lose it. I don't know why. Even during the pandemic, when I didn't meet with anyone, I was still losing my pens and my cell phone charger. So to be honest with you, for me personally, and I'm going to be celebrating my 20th wedding anniversary with my wife Karen next week, and I just being a place where I can go and make my wife smile. That's the biggest gift that a guy could have is, finding a place that they feel comfortable, that, and that's what I really liked about Wild Goose Chase was that, you walk into the store and I don't know what I'm doing, when I'm walking into that store. And you think when you're walking in that you've got about a 5% chance of walking out, having done the right thing. And with the help you get, and you just feel comfortable. You feel comfortable to make the decision that you want to make and stuff. And there are stores that sort of cater to women, and sometimes I feel when I've gone in, it's not that they're trying to make me uncomfortable. It's just that they just assume that you're lost.
Which most probably
you're not
are.
in there because you're really there to shop. And I know it'll be a little smaller location. I always think like when you do go in with your wife, a comfortable chair somewhere. I'm usually in that
on our list.
Chair.
Yep,
Of course.
yep. Happy anniversary.
Thank you. And so you'll probably be seeing me
Good.
for the late gift.
I hope so.
I looked at the on your website and I saw a lot of Boston College stuff. Is
Yes.
that?
Yes. But we didn't have a lot of inventory left. I mean, literally, I walked out of that store on the last day with a tote full of jewelry and just a few smaller knickknacks. So that's the part that's a little exciting for me, as I am, buying a lot of fresh things and new things. So, all of a sudden, when you don't have any inventory, you're just going to start new and try to find things that are different. But always had a category of Boston items, whether it was just Boston, Brookline, or for specifically the colleges, because we get so much traffic from the Marriott. So that's a great asset to us. And we want to make sure they know that you can still see us from outside their windows.
Do you go to places like open studios and like, I know Brookline is having its open studios on October 2nd or stuff like that to sort of look for new talent?
Of course. There's that. There's SOA, the Coolidge Corner Art Festival. Last Saturday, I was out at a show out in Concord. Met 2 people there, just, having some initial conversations. So I think going forward, we'll have the ability to do more of that, because there's sort of 2 people that'll be out there sourcing and having those conversations, versus just one person trying to wear a lot of hats.
I actually know someone I want to tell you about, but I'm not going to say it during the show because I don't want to put you on the spot. But
there's a lot of Brookline people with a lot of talent. So we are reaching out to them too. I think it'll be great for them to have a big presence in the store, being right from Brookline.
well, thank you guys so much for coming on the show and sharing. And we'll come back later, maybe early next year, and we'll do one where you will set up a big computer in the store, and you'll be able to sort of wheel it around.
Perfect.
And show everyone the inside of Wild Goose Chase.
Yeah.
Is there anything like you want to end with? Share any thoughts about?
I mean, I think there's going to be something for everyone in the store. Beth has been doing such a wonderful job sourcing items and gifts, and there's going to be a lot of colorful, funky, fun things, lots of jewelry, clothing. There's really something for everyone. So we're working hard to get in there early November so that we can open up and be there for the holiday season. And also we are going to work hard on the website and getting a lot of items online for those that aren't comfortable coming into a store at this point. So I think it's going to be great.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much for being on the show. And everyone, go to Wild Goose Chase. We'll put the URL up on the screen for everyone. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi, my name is Danielle Myers of ADW Video Productions and BrooklineHub.com. BrooklineHub.com is a 501c3 nonprofit online publication dedicated to community building through local reporting and events. Brookline Facing Civil Rights was produced by our founder, Harvey Bravman. The film is about the experiences of African Americans who helped break the wall of segregation that existed in Brookline before the civil rights laws were passed in the 1960s. Last year, the film sold out the Coolidge Corner Theater and included a panel discussion on inclusivity. You can stream the film and the discussion on BrooklineHub.com in exchange for a donation to the Brookline Community Foundation's Safety Net Fund. You can also stream Soul Witness, a film that features interviews with Brookline Holocaust survivors conducted 30 years ago, on soulwitness.org. For the last 11 years, Harvey has been interviewing outstanding teens as part of an event held at the Coolidge called the Brookline Youth Awards. The Brookline Youth Awards are an opportunity for Brookline residents to hear about the character, challenges, and dreams of its young people, as well as adults dedicated to their success through the power and intimacy of video interviews.